I'm Jeannie Green. Thank you so much for joining me. Today we bring you a very important program. It's all about tobacco, how to stop smoking, stories of people who have successfully tried to stop smoking and have quit. I'm not included in this video, but actually I stopped smoking myself 10 years ago, and it was one of the best decisions I ever made. So I understand exactly where you're coming from if you're hoping to quit. Hopefully today's program can help you get there.
On your next visit to Anchorage, be sure to stay at the Creekwood Inn and RV Park. Now under new management, the Creekwood Inn offers 26 newly renovated rooms and a cabin that sleeps 6. If you're in town for an event, the Creekwood Inn is the nearest hotel to the Sullivan Arena. The Creekwood Inn also has 68 RV spaces available year-round and offers winter RV storage with water, electric, sewer, and cable. The Creekwood Inn and RV Park is a proud sponsor of the Iditarod Fur Rendezvous and the Alaska Fighting Championships. So the next time you're in Anchorage, visit us at the Creekwood Inn and RV Park.
There are two sides to a man. One side is the animal, nothing but selfish pleasure. You know, the kind of man that leaves women and children alone. But the other side, now that's honorable. It's a part of you that desires to do what's right and always do your best. When you make a decision to wait to have sex, you've chosen honor. You've chosen not to expose anyone to pregnancy or disease. Because you're more than just sperm and child support. You're a man, not animal or honorable. What side controls you?
6 months ago, Claire made a promise to her family and to herself. The promise was she'd quit smoking by the time her next birthday came around. And already she's feeling better. She has more stamina, more energy, and her lungs are stronger than ever before.
I quit.
I quit. I gave up smoking.
I quit.
I chose to give it up.
I quit.
If you use tobacco and have ever tried to quit, you know what a victory it is to utter those words. We talked to people in villages across Alaska about their experiences with tobacco, how and why they started using it, why they want to quit, and for those who did, what made them decide to quit.
Tobacco Quit Line, this is Andrea. Can I help you?
We also looked at programs available around the state that are set up to support tobacco users who want to quit. Now more than ever, there are a variety of excellent support services provided through both state and local organizations that are making it possible for Alaskans to quit tobacco for good and improve their chances for a longer, healthier life. Alaska Natives have one of the highest tobacco use rates in the country. 43% smoke. Almost double that of all Americans, 23%. And 14% use chewing tobacco. That's 5 times more than all Americans who chew.
The fact is that you line up 3 smokers. One of them will die from smoking, and the other 2 will become sick from smoking.
Tobacco is the only legal consumer product which, when used as intended, results in disease and death. It causes more than 440,000 deaths in the United States each year. For every person who dies from tobacco, 20 more suffer from a smoking-related illness. Others suffer from nicotine-related illnesses that can come from smoking or chewing tobacco. In 2002, a report by Dr. Ann Lanier of the Alaska Native Tribal Health Consortium told us what most of us have known for a while, that cancer is now the leading cause of death for Alaska Natives. Half a century ago, the cause was tuberculosis. Now, Natives have a 30% higher risk of dying from all cancers than white people. For men, the most common cancers are lung cancer, colorectal cancer, prostate, stomach, and oral cancers. In women, breast cancer, colorectal cancer, and lung cancer are the most prevalent. These cancers and numerous others that Alaska's natives are having to deal with are linked to tobacco use, as are other serious illnesses and diseases in those who use tobacco and those exposed to secondhand smoke.
After seeing so many people dying of lung cancer, seeing so many people go through struggles and health problems, all leading to cigarettes. Sure, we all blame something else or someone else, but when it all comes down to it, it's how you treat your body. And smoking cigarettes, knowing there's 60 kinds of chemicals, 16 kinds of cancers, knowing that these are all toxins for your body, it's just not worth it.
Cigarette smoking and chewing and the chemicals found in tobacco have serious side effects. Medical studies indicate that smoking is one of the leading causes of impotence.
As a young teenager, I never thought of it that it's pretty unattractive. You see a girl smoking a cigarette, you know, it's not a pretty sight at all. Even for a young guy, you know, it's not a cool thing at all. The way I see it, I don't see it that way at all. I mean, you look older than you really are when you're a smoker. Your voice fades. You won't be able to sing like you sing. You talk like you sing. You talk like your voice is going out. And it's just your clothes smell. Your clothes are burnt, and you just smell like a walking ashtray. It's just real. I just don't care for it no more.
I notice a lot of people who chew have really bad dental problems, and then the ones who smoke cigarettes, they have health problems, like they can't play basketball like they used to. They have breathing problems, and I notice a lot of asthma cases are coming up. So I know we see more and more effects from chewing tobacco and smoking tobacco.
In the Yukon-Kuskokwim Delta, tobacco use is very common amongst adults and youth alike. In Hooper Bay, many of the youth use tobacco in one form or another. Although law enforcement has helped lower the number of youth who use tobacco publicly, there are still many of them chewing and smoking tobacco on a daily basis. But the problem is not just in the YK Delta. From the top of the world to the southeast panhandle, the youth are experimenting with tobacco and in most cases are becoming addicted to the life-changing substance.
Nicotine's definitely something that's it's an incredible drug. You know, it's been put on the list as potent and as addictive as heroin, which is an incredibly addictive drug. Nicotine is often blamed for tobacco addiction. What I'm finding now is looking at tobacco in a way that the addiction itself isn't just about nicotine, it's also about coping skills, and that people talk about cigarettes as being their best friends. And cigarettes are something that centers them, grounds them. And there's psycho-emotional, spiritual issues that need to be looked at in order to look at the addiction. If you look into a person's life, you try to uncover some of the things in their life that maybe are, hard for them to deal with, and help them to embrace the fact that they can deal with that. And by dealing with that, perhaps they won't need to be using a cigarette to get centered all the time. That maybe they'll be able to deal with it in a way that's healthier, through exercise, through good nutrition.
Would you give your children heroin? How about something more addictive than heroin? Because the cells in young bodies are developing rapidly, children absorb the nicotine easily and become addicted very quickly.
There was 3 boys that were walking down the street, and it was a real interesting experience now that I look back on it, because like I said, I was having a bad day. I felt like the whole world was against me. And I remember walking down the street, kicking rocks, wondering, what did I do? Why is everybody mad at me? And one of these boys walked over to me, and he offered me a cigarette. And I remember looking down at that cigarette and going, in my mind I knew it was not something that I wanted to do. But he was not just offering me a cigarette. He was offering me friendship. He was saying, I don't know what's going on with you, but you're all right in my book. And at that moment, I took it. I just took it. And that began, for me, a relationship with tobacco for 29 years of smoking on a daily basis. I was about 11 years old.
Many times, peer pressure plays a huge role in why some kids start using tobacco. Other times, they try using tobacco because they've seen other family members smoking or chewing.
Everybody has influence on kids, everybody. Even children, among children have influence. So I think, people that do smoke around children have a big influence around them as well.
As adults, we are often seen as role models by the young people who are watching us. When we use tobacco in front of them, we're sending them the message that using tobacco is okay. Do you smoke cigarettes around young people? When you see youth using tobacco, do you say anything to them?
Today, I see a lot of adults walk by a young person and never challenge that young person who has a cigarette in their hand. So I think it comes down to some personal responsibility and saying, where do I stand around this issue? What am I going to do? Do I ignore this young person that I know who's smoking? Do I not say anything? Sometimes when you don't say anything, you've said a lot.
I see a lot of young youth smoking cigarettes, and it really makes me angry inside that I smoked all those cigarettes in front of all those children, all those people for so long. I didn't think that as a smoker. I didn't think I had any influence on children. Oh, they'll smoke with or without me smoking a cigarette. It doesn't matter if I smoke a cigarette, but it does matter. It does matter if something happened to me. It does matter to my children. It doesn't matter to my wife. Everything matters what I do to them, because in the end, if I'm gone, then they're the ones who are going to be the ones suffering for what my actions are.
If a child begins to use tobacco before age 19, they're making the decision to use tobacco at an age when they may not understand the long-term consequences of the addiction, especially when you're talking to youth about illnesses from tobacco. They may not be able to relate to what that illness is going to mean in their life when they're 45 years old and they have a heart attack prematurely because they've been using nicotine on a regular basis.
Nicotine, a naturally occurring chemical found only in the tobacco plant, is a central nervous system stimulant similar in effect to cocaine, amphetamines, or speed. A cigarette is nicotine in its most dangerous form because people light it up and it gets into their brain within 7 or 8 seconds. When pregnant mothers use tobacco, whether it be cigarettes or chew, the nicotine tightens the blood vessels in the placenta so that less blood is flowing through them. This keeps food and oxygen from reaching the baby. The nicotine also makes the baby's heart beat faster, by as much as 40 beats per minute, and that's not good for any baby. And using tobacco while you're pregnant could mean having a baby that's too small, having a baby that's stillborn or who dies soon after birth, having a miscarriage, having a baby that gets sick often, Women who stop smoking before getting pregnant or during the first 3 to 4 months of pregnancy reduce their risk of having a low birth weight baby to the same risk as women who never smoked. Another good reason to stop using tobacco is that it's a habit that costs a lot of money. Add it up. How many packs of cigarettes or chew do you use daily? Now, take that number and multiply the cost over a week. How about over a month? Or even a year? You may be spending between $2,000 and $3,000 a year on tobacco. Isn't there a better way to use that money? Shaun Murran of Hooper Bay made the decision to quit using tobacco at an early age for his own reasons.
I quit because I'd always be getting a headache and bad, ugly teeth. And if I kept up with chewing, I would have been jealous. I mean, I know I could have been jealous, but I quit chewing because I knew there was better things to do. Better things to do and better ways to do it.
While smoking harms your body in many ways, once you quit, your body does an amazing job repairing all of the damage caused by cigarettes. 20 minutes after your last cigarette, your blood pressure and heart rate drops to normal, and the temperature of your hands and feet increase to normal. 8 hours after you've smoked a cigarette, the carbon monoxide level in your blood drops, and the oxygen level in your blood increases to normal. 24 hours after your last cigarette, you have less chance of having a heart attack. After 2 days, your sense of taste and smell improve greatly. 3 days, and breathing becomes easier. After 1 week, circulation improves. By 2 weeks, walking becomes easier. Your lungs begin to work better by the 3rd week. 1 month after your last cigarette, you have more energy and your skin color and tone improve.
Flying in Alaska? Fly Frontier, the official airline of Heartbeat Alaska. Frontier is expanding again. They've added new routes to Nome, Kotzebue, and the surrounding villages. As you can see, Frontier is now really covering Alaska. So the next time you fly, try Frontier. Frontier offers quick, convenient check-in, low fares, and service direct to many of the villages. Frontier Flying Service is the official airline of Heartbeat Alaska. Make it your official airline too.
In the 1890s, pioneers carved a railway through the rugged mountains between Skagway and the Klondike. More than a century later, the White Pass and Yukon route still makes this legendary run. Along the way, life has gotten better for folks working on the railroad, thanks in part to Primera Blue Cross Blue Shield of Alaska, a health plan that's offered smart choices and quality coverage to the people of Alaska since before it was a state. Primera Blue Cross Blue Shield of Alaska. We're here. We're with you.
With all of the knowledge we have about how dangerous tobacco is, today more Alaskans who use tobacco want to quit. Some elders and adults alike who use tobacco say, "There is no use in my quitting, I'm too old." But the truth is that it's never too late to quit smoking.
I guess you could say I was too young to smoke. And even today, years later, when I'm asked that question again, I tell them I'm too young to smoke.
Quitting sometimes takes more than just willpower. Nicotine increases the levels of certain chemicals in your brain that affect your moods and actions. When you stop using tobacco, these chemical levels go down and you feel bad. That's called nicotine withdrawal, or the crazies, and it's what makes it tough to quit. The crazies usually last for 1 to 2 weeks after you quit. For heavy tobacco users, it could last longer and be a little tougher, but the good news is you can quit. We've already talked about why you should quit, but to be successful, you have to really want to quit. Having a plan of action really helps, and it's proven that the more support you have, the greater the chances for success. For many, the quitting process continues over an extended time period. Research shows that chances for success increase with each attempt. There will be some personal challenges you will have to overcome.
That first time was difficult for me. I had to juggle a lot of thoughts, a lot of feelings. I had to deal with a lot of new experiences about myself. I didn't realize, for instance, that if I felt lonely, all I had to do was walk up to someone and ask for a light. And right there I have an instant friend. We share something in common. If I felt angry, I could smoke a cigarette. If I felt depressed, I could smoke a cigarette. These things I had to learn how to deal with without using tobacco.
At first, when you first quit, it's very hard. That's the very hardest to do, is that first day. The first day I quit, I chewed a lot of gum. Chewed a lot of gum, had a lot of hard candy, and stayed away from smokers. I just spiritually stayed away from all my friends that smoked cigarettes. It took me about 5 days of staying away from them, staying away from people that light up. I stayed with people that don't smoke, stayed with people that were always active doing things. Just during that vital time, they were very supportive. So it's real important to have people around you that are supportive of you kicking the habit.
If you found quitting tobacco extremely difficult, you're not alone. Slipping and starting to use tobacco again is all part of the quitting process. Persist until you're successful. Sometimes it takes people 5 to 7 quit attempts to quit for good. Most cessation programs will support you until you are successful. There are several cessation programs across the state that are accessible to you. There's even a 24-hour quit line available.
Tobacco Quit Line, this is Andrea. Can I help you?
Alaskans who smoke or chew tobacco and want to quit are provided a free cessation counseling through the Alaska Tobacco Quit Line. And this is a statewide 24-hour day, 7-day-a-week program that is staffed by nurses who are trained in cessation and assist callers in picking their personal quit date. You're sent what we call a quit kit, and it has been developed in conjunction with the state of Alaska and other agencies to have a guide to help people process and help them keep a log of their smoking activities. And there's actually a little calculator in there so that they can calculate out the dollars that they've been spending and what they could use those for instead of buying tobacco.
Programs like this one are making it easier for tobacco users to kick the habit, but the desire to quit has to come from within you. If you're trying to quit and would like to learn more about cessation programs in your area, then grab a pen and paper. Statewide, 24 hours a day, you can call the Alaska Tobacco Quit Line's toll-free number, 888-842-7848. That's 888-842-QUIT. Help is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. There are also several regional tobacco cessation programs available to you through your health providers and native organizations. No matter which region you reside in, you can receive help quitting tobacco. All it takes is a phone call. Support services are in place for you, and there are a variety of methods available for everyone. Take that first step towards quitting tobacco for good. Surround yourself with supportive people who don't use tobacco. Convince yourself that you can do it. Then believe in yourself. Just like me, I quit. You will be well on your way to a healthier, longer life. The road ahead will be full of potholes as you begin the quitting process, but be assured that the long-term rewards for the people of your community, your friends, Your family and yourself, even your pets, are what pave the road beyond.
But I feel a lot better. I feel, you know, I could sleep at night.
I feel a lot better health-wise.
I could get up in the mornings and jump up and start doing my duties.
I don't lose my breath as easily.
All the food and that sort of stuff tastes differently. You know, I got the full flavor of the food.
Last year I couldn't keep up with my son in running. Nowadays I can keep up with him pretty much.
We Native people have faced many challenges in the past. Quitting an addiction that has taken the lives of many of our people. Really, it's an easy choice.
I think Alaska Natives lose a lot of people to cigarettes and alcohol and drugs, and you know, and I just don't want to be another number for the tobacco company or alcohol company or anybody to be. I just don't want to be a number of theirs. I want to be here for my people. I want to be here for my children.
I hope this program informed you, educated you, and inspired you to quit using tobacco. I hope that it dissuades you if you are hoping to start using tobacco like maybe your friends are. It's not a good idea. I've never felt better, ever, since I quit smoking. God bless you. We'll see you again next week.
Yeah,